Hello everyone. Today we are going to read our 8th chapter Social Change, Mobile and Settled Communities. New words to remember. Nomads. The members of a tribe who move from one place to another to find food. Sati. A former Hindu custom of a widow burning herself on the funeral pyre of her husband. It was abolished long ago. Assimilated. To become a part of a group, community, or nation. Pastoralism. Caring and rearing of animals like camels, goats, and cattle. Tribes denote primitive families or communities united by racial bonds and sharing the same customs, religion, language, etc. They depend on agriculture, hunting, and forest products for their livelihood. Social change, the settled communities. Indian society not only consisted of indigenous people but also large number of people who came from outside. They settled down in India and got assimilated in Indian population. During the medieval period, the Turks, the Afghans, and the Mughals came from Central Asia. They made India their homeland. Social life in the Middle Ages. Due to the influence of the Muslim rulers and their soldiers, many of our people who also became Muslims. They adopted their customs and modes of dressing. The Hindus. The Hindus formed the vast majority of the population. Their social structure was knit around the caste system. The Brahmins, the Kshatriyas, the Rajputs, and the Vaishya community enjoyed a higher status in society. The Rajputs had become very powerful from 11th century onwards. They were known for their acts of heroism. They took pride in protecting the honor of women. Sati was practiced by the Rajput women. The caste system had become very rigid during the medieval age. Many new castes and subcastes associated with various occupations sprang up, such as weavers, goldsmiths, carpenters, fishermen, and potters. There were also the people who were considered social outcasts. The practice of untouchability was the main cause of why so many people from the lower jatis or castes changed their religion and became Muslims. Many Muslim rulers treated their Hindu subjects cruelly. The Parda system, wearing a veil, became more common among women during this age. Many Rajput women practiced Johar, collective suicide, in order to escape dishonor at the hands of invaders. The Muslims. By and large, the Muslim population was divided into three classes: the nobles, called Khans, Maliks, or Amirs; the ulemas and imams, or the clergy; and the peasants, artisans, and the petty traders. The Muslim society also had its own class or caste structure for purposes of marriage and social intimacy. Burqa was worn in public by Muslim women. Tribal societies and the nomads. The term tribe denotes primitive families or communities united by racial bonds. They share the same customs, religion, and language and do the same economic activities or jobs. There are hundreds of tribal groups. They are believed to be the earliest settlers in Indian peninsula. They are also called the Adivasis, meaning the original inhabitants. With the growing need of protection, each tribe had its tribal chief. Some of the tribes lived a settled life. Others have been nomads, continually moving and having no permanent home. Some of the tribes like Birhors and Hilkharyas lived by hunting, food gathering and fishing. There are some other tribes who practice slash and burn cultivation. A piece of forest land is first cleared and the trees are cut and burned. The seeds are then sown in ashes, which make the soil fertile. After a year or two, when the yield decreases, they move to a new patch of land and clear it. Jongs and Hill Bhuyans are some of the tribes who practice this type of cultivation. There are many tribes who practice settled agriculture. Some tribal groups like Koyas practice pastoralism or animal rearing. The Mahalis and Kol Lohari are artisans engaged in basket making or work as blacksmiths using primitive techniques. Some of them, like Pradhans of Madhya Pradesh, are folk artists. The tribal population. As per 2001 census, the tribal constitute nearly 8.20% of the total population. The northeastern part of India has the largest concentration of tribal population in the country. The contribution of tribals to the growth of Indian history and culture cannot be underestimated. For example, the Bhils of Rajasthan provided shelter to Rana Pratap and his family after the Rana's defeat in the Battle of Haldighati. They strengthened the Rajputs by their guerrilla tactics. The nomads and the mobile people. The nomads or Banjaras were dependent on pastoral economy. They kept sheep and cattle. They were continually moving from place to find fresh pasture for their cattle. Their caravan of cattle pulled carts was known as tanda. They used to supply wool, ghee, and other milk products to settled agriculturists. In exchange, they used to get from them grains, cloth, and other things of domestic use. Alauddin Khilji forced the Banjaras to employ their cattle for transporting grains to city markets. When the Mughals invaded South India, the food grains were supplied to their troops by these nomad traders. That is how the Banjaras migrated to Andhra Pradesh and other adjoining areas in southern India. They eventually settled down in Deccan and followed various professions. But many sections among them continued to travel from place to place. They made and sold things such as small iron tools, ropes, mats, and baskets. Development of the tribes. The tribals mainly follow primitive occupations such as hunting and gathering of forest produce. Many of them practice shifting agriculture or cultivation. Their main problems are illiteracy, poverty, and backwardness. The tribals continued to be exploited by moneylenders. Making of liquors is a permissible activity among the tribal families that makes them weak both physically and economically. Under the Constitution of India, certain tribes have been mentioned as scheduled tribes. There is reservation of seats in the Lok Sabha and the state assemblies for ST. Some posts in government services are also kept reserved for them. Non-tribals cannot purchase any property in the tribal belt. The tribals are simple and honest people. There is need for closer understanding of their customs and needs. Gonds. The Gonds or the Gondi people lived in the state of Madhya Pradesh, Maharashtra, Chhattisgarh, Andhra Pradesh, Western Odisha, and Central India. They were concentrated in the central region, which came to be called Gondwana or the land of Gonds. The term Gond is derived from a Telugu word Konda meaning hill. They speak Gondi dialect, which is related to Telugu and other Dravidian languages. Many of them speak Indo-Aryan languages including Hindi. A number of Gond kingdoms flourished in Gondwana between 15th and 18th century. Many Rajput dynasties also ruled over some of the Gond regions between 6th to 12th century. In the 15th century, there were at least 5 powerful Gond kingdoms in Maharashtra and Madhya Pradesh. The Gond kings had lot of wealth and resources. They had impressive palaces and forts. The most powerful of the Gond kingdoms was Gad Katanga, which consisted of some 70,000 villages. It was governed by Rani Durgavati on behalf of her minor son Bir Narayan. She was a lady of great valor. The immense wealth of the kingdom attracted Akbar's attention. He sent Asaf Khan, the governor of eastern provinces, to conquer the kingdom. She fought bravely but was defeated. She committed suicide in order to save her honor. Her son also died a soldier's death. Asaf Khan held the kingdom for some time, but later on it was given to a relative of the old ruling family. The Marathas crushed the power of Gonds in AD 1789 and later the British occupied their territory in AD 1817. After independence, many Gond kingdoms were merged into Madhya Pradesh. Economy. The Gonds were traditionally agriculturists. Some of them practiced slash and burn cultivation. Others were settled agriculturists and raised cereals and many other crops. At present, also the Gonds depend mainly on agriculture for their livelihood. They have also taken up some semi-skilled jobs. Administration of the Gond kingdoms. In the Middle Ages, the Gond kingdoms were divided into Gars. Each Gar was governed by a particular clan. Each Gar was divided into smaller units of administration called Chaurasi. It seems that each Chaurasi consisted of 84 villages. For an effective management of their own affair, each Chaurasi was divided into Barhots. Each Barhot was a group of 12 villages which managed its own resources. The Gond society. The Gonds follow their own religion. Each clan has its own deity called Parsapan. In the Bastar region, Baradev is an important deity. A form of panchayat is found in the village. The Gonds usually obey customary rules regarding marriage and divorce. Many of the petty crimes are settled by panchayats. The new Panchayati Raj system has not been accepted by the Gonds. Case study. The Ahoms of Assam. The kingdom of Ahom was situated in the eastern Brahmaputra valley. It included present-day territory of Assam and North Bengal. Assam derives its name from the Ahoms. The Ahoms belong to Mao Shan tribe of China. They began to migrate to Upper Myanmar, Burma, and then gradually entered India. They occupied a portion of the Brahmaputra valley in the 13th century after defeating the local chiefs. The kingdom of the Ahoms. The Ahoms established a strong kingdom which lasted for 6 centuries. The first prominent Ahom ruler was Sukhafa. He probably ruled between AD 1228 and AD 1268. The Ahoms came under Hindu influence and adopted Hindu religion and customs. The Mughals under Shah Jahan tried to expand their empire. They fought against the Ahoms. Peace was achieved by fixing the borders between the Mughal dominion and the Ahom territory. But this peace was short lived. Taking advantage of the war of succession between the sons of Shah Jahan in his last days, the Ahoms violated the frontier. They occupied Guwahati and drove away the Mughal officers. In AD 1662, the Mughals under Mir Jumla, the governor of Bengal, invaded the Ahom kingdom. The Ahoms were defeated and had to cede the Darang territory to the Mughals. But the Mughal victory was short lived. The Ahoms recaptured the lost territories. One of their greatest rulers was Rudra Singh, who ruled between AD 1696 and AD 1714. He built the city of Rangpur and encouraged trade relations with Tibet. By 19th century, the Ahoms had become weak. Their administration was ineffective. Soon Burmese overran their territories. The British got Assam by the Treaty of Yandabu signed with the Burmese rulers in AD 1826. The administration of the Ahom kingdom. The Ahom kingdom was a strong centralized state. The rulers at the center gave out instructions to all the other regional authorities. The Ahom rulers believed in a system of forced labor. During war times, all adult males were officially required to join the army. When the kingdom had peace, the menfolk were forced to engage themselves in projects such as building dams across the rivers in order to make lakes behind them. In this way, they could always have water to irrigate their fields. Other public works included building of roads, fortress, etc. Under this system of forced labor, each village was required to send a number of persons called pikes by rotation for building dams that were built by the state. The Ahom Society. The Ahoms originally worshipped a number of tribal deities, but during the 17th century they were Hinduist and adopted Hindu religion and customs. Under the influence of Hinduism, the Ahom rulers made gifts of money and land to the Brahmins and the Hindu temples. Like other tribal societies, the Ahoms were also divided into various clans. They usually married in their own clan. They depended mainly on agriculture for their livelihood. No peasant could be deprived of his land without the approval of the village community or the village council. Some people depended on forest products and cattle rearing. There were not many artisans among them for whom they depended on the neighboring kingdoms. The Ahom society showed interest in culture, literature, plays, and theatre shows. The rulers and moneyed people patronized poets and scholars. They got many Sanskrit works translated into local dialects. A few historical works called Buranjis describe the real life or things that existed in those days. These works appeared in the Assamese language. The Bhils. The Bhils constitute the second largest tribal group in the country. They are also called the Bhil Garasia. The Bhils are concentrated mainly in a few districts of Madhya Pradesh, Gujarat, and Rajasthan. The word Bhil seems to have been derived from a Tamil word bil, meaning a bow. It is a very ancient tribe. We find references to it both in the Mahabharata and the Ramayana. We have already referred to their historic role in the history of Rajasthan. They provided military assistance to Rana Pratap in his struggle against the Mughals. Early in AD 1818, when Khandesh came under the British, the Bhils revolted against the British rulers, but they were suppressed. The main source of livelihood of the Bhils is agriculture. They also depended on forest products and hunting. They celebrate Holi with great enthusiasm. Superstitions, magic, and old beliefs form an integral part of their religion and culture. So, this was our chapter Social Change, Mobile and Settled Communities. If you have any doubt or query, you can ask me in the comment section below. Thank you, everyone.